Good afternoon and welcome to Rome. It's a great honor and a pleasure to host this SPAEN annual meeting in Rome, a city that has captivated the hearts and minds for millennia. And since images are worth more than words, I'd like to share a short video about the city that welcomes us. Please. Benvenuti a Roma. Welcome to the Eternal City, a place of timeless beauty, where every street corner holds a piece of history, where ancient ruins stand side by side with Renaissance masterpieces, Baroque sculptures, and contemporary arts, where the Colosseum, the Pantheon, the Roman Forum remind us of the magnificence of ancient Rome, as well as of the Roman Empire. Within the heart of Rome then lies the Vatican, a sovereign state that is home of some of the world's most magnificent art treasures. Inside the Vatican museums, you'll be enchanted by the treasures such as Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling, Raffaello's masterful frescoes, and many other artistic treasures. Rome is a living testament to the enduring power of beauty, art, and culture. But much more than this, Rome was the capital of one of the greatest empires the world has ever known, and has played a pivotal role in shaping the course of history. It was here that the ideals of democracy, law, and citizenship were first conceived, laying the foundation for Western civilization as we know it. In essence, throughout the centuries, Rome has served as a cultural crossroads, as a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and beliefs. In view of all of this, it's my great joy and privilege to celebrate the SPAEN 15th anniversary in this incredible city. I met SPAEN and its visionary founders, first of all, Roger and Marcus, 15 years ago, at the beginning of this incredible adventure. Since then, the network has evolved into a global organization capable of raising awareness in all of us of the value and the power of advocacy, and of bringing together more than 60 patient advocates from all 5 continents. Certainly, SPAEN's strength mainly lies in its ability to build an ever stronger disease community by bringing together patients and professionals as partners. The advance of new technologies ranging from multi-omics integrated approaches to artificial intelligence is reshaping the oncology landscape, opening it up to new challenges for all of us. Resources, namely the funds required to address these challenges, are undoubtedly essential. But even more crucial is the need for all of us never to relinquish our passion, coupled with our experience and expertise, of course. Working together, making a difference, leaving an impact on the lives of present and future patients. So welcome again to this celebratory meeting in Rome. And please join me in welcoming Roger, founder and honorary president of SPAEN.
Thank you, Ornella. I'm going to take you quickly through those 15 years since the founding of SPAEN, and now SPAN. Just to remind you, it may be SPAGN, but we pronounce it SPAN. And the joke for the English people is that the G is silent. Right. How do I move on? Just swipe? Right, thank you. Finding each other is the first part of the story. You see there a lovely view of the Italian lakes. New Horizons in Treating Cancer was started by Novartis to help patient groups understand more about imatinib for the treatment of GIST. And part of the treatment that we suffered is pictured on the right. We met probably first in 2004, Marcus and I, and in 2006, our good friend, Professor Jean-Yves Blay, who's on the right hand in the center at the front, called us to a meeting in Paris. You'll notice that I think there are 3 of us there who are here today, Kai, myself, and Marcus. And Estelle is still active as a patient advocate. Judith and David have retired, and the others were never involved directly with us. But as a result of that meeting, we defined the challenge that we faced as patients. And the core challenge was that there were no sarcoma patient organizations around Europe in any significant numbers. We had started Sarcoma UK in the UK, there was Das Lebenshaus in Germany, there was the work that with Sarcoma that Estelle had been doing, but few else. And Marcus and I wrote a paper. And out of that paper, we defined Sarcoma Patients Euronet. And in Europe, we said, every sarcoma patient will know that they can reach out for information, support, and advice from other patients. And that paper took us to a famous event in 2009, 15 years ago, in April. So it's only just over 15 years away. And those people were there for the founding meeting of SPAN. And I think there's 5 of us there in that photograph who are here today. Kamil is there from Poland. Kai is there from Germany. I am there. And Marcus is there. And I think Christina is here, yes? Yes, Christina is? Yes. I think that's all. Yes, and Marcus, of course, yes, at the back. So 6 of us in that photograph are here today. And there's just one of the many, many photographs that have been taken over the years since. But those years since have been recorded visually for us by Corey, who will... Mickey will start the video. So, happy 15th birthday to SPAN. Yes, thank you, Corey, for putting that, editing that succession of wonderful photos. Great memories, great memories. Right. One of the key things that we've done is to work with our specialist professional doctors. Not every patient group is able to do that, but by the structure of the sarcoma community, we have been able to, and we work collaboratively, we work well together. Just to give a few photographs of some of those who've been so important to us during those 15 years. Dr. Casali from Milan, Jean-Yves Blay, we've already mentioned, Jonathan Fletcher from Boston in the USA, and Professor Peter Reichhardt, who will be here later in this event. Many of our friends have retired, although Alex Gronchi in the centre at the top is still going strong, and I think Dr. Lessen on the bottom left is also in practice, but George Dimitri, top left, and Ian Judson, top right, have both retired, although Dr. Dimitri is still working with the development of new agents, and Professor Peter Hermberger at the bottom in the centre, retired last year. All these have been very significant supporters of us and helpers to us. And of course, the work of our professional colleagues continues. I'm not going to try and name every one of them, but here at this meeting will be Professor Wynette van der Graaf, who is the president of EORTC and a leading sarcoma researcher. Professor Robin Jones was hoping to be here, but unfortunately, because of family circumstances, he will not be, and his research fellow will be joining us, and we're looking forward to meeting her. And Dr. Sylvie Bonvalot is going to talk to us as well, and she is one of the leading surgeons in the world with sarcomas. So our work with the specialist doctors continues, and we have good relationships with a lot of researchers, research scientists too. The Institute of Cancer Research in London is a leading centre of research. The EORTC runs clinical research, and we support the work of their soft tissue and bone sarcoma group. And the Netherlands Cancer Institute is a great partner of ours, working with the patient-focused research network, which Gerard has worked with to create. So that continues and is such an important part of our life. It's about education, about information, about advice, us giving them advice, but them giving us advice, a two-way process. It's about guidance, collaboration, and importantly, the roundtable research projects, which we've been working on over the last few years. They have been changing clinical practice, and that's what we want to see, an improvement in clinical practice for the better. So that's all I have to say, and now I am going to hand over to Marcus to round this opening session off.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ornella and Roger. Welcome. Welcome on behalf of the board and the team to this specific conference. And there's a term in German that is about alle Wege führen nach Rom. And if you translate this, that means all ways led or will bring you to Rome. And so it's our really pleasure to welcome everyone from around the world coming to Rome from different ways and different areas of the world. And I know that some of you traveled maybe 15 hours or 20 hours to come here. So thank you very much for this, because this is also an effort to come together to this kind of conference. And there's a term, and we use this term, that means passion led us here. What does passion mean? Passion on one side is that we love to work internationally, that we really have the passion to work internationally and to collaborate and to share. But passion also means passion for change. That's our main passion to change the situation for our patients. Means to change the situation for the individual patient. That's what we are doing. That's what you are doing every day in your organizations to change the situation for your patients with patient support, with counseling, bringing the patients to the right experts, or maybe also bringing the patients to the right clinical trial, but also referring patients to the experts, but also to give patients with this rare diagnosis the feeling that they are not alone. So we are talking about solidarity with patients. So this is the change for the individual patient. But we also want to change the situation for many patients, and that's what we call patient advocacy. And this means that we have a strong patient voice in our healthcare systems, in research, in digitalization, and different other areas to change the situation for the patients. And this also means a strong collaboration, and we already mentioned how important it is to work with our doctors, to work with our experts. And these are the areas where we want to achieve changes. So passion for change brings us together and really drives us forward in the whole field. And there is this main or important quote of Mahatma Gandhi, who mentioned, "Be the change you want to see in the world," that we can ask for change, but we also need to be change ourselves, and we really need to drive the change forward for this. So every one of us is more or less part of the change or responsible that also change will happen in the future. So we already have heard about the launch of this journey into the unknown, and this started in 2006, and Roger mentioned, then we founded the organization in 2009, and it was really a launch or with a specific journey into the unknown, because we have had an idea, we have had a mission, we have had a passion, but we really had been not aware what will happen with the whole organization. We have had a high commitment and a high motivation to drive this forward. And today we have this 65 or finally 68 member organizations from all parts of the world. And this is fortunately a constantly growing network. And what we have seen over the years is also that regional launches of new patient organizations had been inspired by this global meeting or by this global collaboration. So sometimes patient organizations are established on a national level and then the people come to SPAEN, but sometimes individuals came to SPAEN with a high motivation to do something, and then they started a patient organization on a national level. The other topic is that we really need to have one common voice towards the expert community and to our pharma partners. And this is very important. We can do a lot on a national level, but we also need to join our forces when it comes to international issues. And what we also learned and practiced over the years is that we want to learn, to steal and to benefit from each other, so that we are really not to have to reinvent the wheel on a national level, but that we really can learn from each other and we really can benefit from each other. So that's the point where we are today. SPAEN is also, and this is very important, is characterized by, I would call it, sensitivity to different cultures. That means if you are coming together from a global perspective, as you know, sarcomas are the same around the world, but the situation, the healthcare systems, the cultures are very, very different all over the world. And so we need to be sensitive to the different cultures. That means that not the US way or the German way or the European way is the right way. It depends always how is the situation in your country and what would you like to do and what can you achieve in your own country. And these are some pictures from our trip to our colleagues in India. It was somewhere in 2019, where we had been, I think, around about 1 week together with our friends in India and Vandana. Where's Vandana? Over here. thank you very much again for your fantastic hospitality in India. And we did some workshops together for patients. So we did lectures from our Indian colleagues and we did lectures from our team. But we also had been able to learn a lot. So I personally learned a lot from the situation in India. What is the situation in India, but how to deal with different issues and how to deal with different problems. So it was a learning experience also for us, and it was really a great exchange of culture and really a great collaboration. And maybe let's mention this, cultural sensitivity means also, and I say this very special, there is a video showing me dancing Bollywood. And culturally sensitive means also that Vandana promised me never to release this video. So this is also about culturally sensitivity. Thank you for this. Sensitivity means also sensitivity to different subtypes, because you all know that we are not talking about one disease in sarcomas. We are talking about 60, 70 subgroups, and we are talking about, when you look to the World Health Organization, to the release of the version 2020, we are talking about 170, 180 different diagnoses. That means this sensitivity to different subtypes means that we collaborate on a global level, but not specific to one sarcoma. So I am representing Germany, so my interest is to represent all sarcomas and not a specific sarcoma. So we think all across different silos, and really we are able to work across all the different subtypes, because we know that there is a high need to support patients in all different types of sarcomas. Then we have heard about the conference, and when you look to this list of conference locations, you can imagine these are hundreds of hours of preparation, of organization, of meetings during the last years. And these always had been fantastic experiences in the different areas and really in the networking and exchange with you as members, but also with our medical experts and with our pharma companies. We have seen the same process with the so-called New Horizons GIST conferences over many, many years now. First, in the context or in the collaboration with Novartis, and then later on with a strong collaboration with our friends from the US, from the LifeRef group. So this also means hundreds of hours of meetings and networking and learning and different other aspects. We also heard from Roger how important collaborating and networking is, and we did during the last 15 years a lot of projects and a lot of collaborating with our medical colleagues, but also with our pharmaceutical partners in different areas. And I don't want to go through all these details, maybe two examples. One is Rare Cancers Europe, and we started this initiative around about 2008, together with our medical colleagues and together with the pharmaceutical industry as a multi-stakeholder initiative to bring the awareness more to the field of rare cancers. And this has been extremely successful and extremely important for a lot of developments in Europe, including the so-called ERNs, the European Reference Networks, including our main domain, and this is called the Huracan network. And we already have heard about two main drivers in our community, and this is Professor Jean-Yves Blay and Professor Casali. Another example is now, since round about 3-4 years, the ongoing and the more intensified collaboration with CTOS. This is a fantastic development now on a global level. SPAEN became more global, and now we are working with CTOS on a more global level, and we are more and more integrated into CTOS and into the collaboration with CTOS. So this is extremely important that patients, advocates, and doctors, physicians are working close together. Then it's about patient advocacy, and I don't want to go through all these details because we have done so many projects and so many activities during the last years in the different areas. These are only the areas where we have done a lot of work, but also where we need to do a lot more work in the next years. And here are some success factors at the end now that have defined or that define SPAEN. It's about the focus on patient needs and, as I mentioned in the early beginning, on change. It's about the clear vision and mission and strategic objectives. It's about communication. And we already talked about the cultural sensitivity. It's about a strong leadership team, but also a harmonious crew, to have a harmonious crew to work together, but also a sense of community and different other types on different other factors. There are factors that really drove SPAEN forward and will define SPAEN also in the future. And as we discussed, every journey needs a great crew or a great team, and we have this great team or this great crew. And from my experience during the last 15 years, it was really a privilege, an honor to work with these people like Roger, Ornella, and different other people really together to drive this ship and to drive this journey forward with the elected board, with the appointed board members, but also with a great team, with Catherine, Michi, and Corey, and Ivana, and we also have Tanya and different people who are really supporting us. But we also have had past board members who really joined us during this journey and really helped us during the journey. So it's important to have this fantastic team, and really it's a lot of fun also to work with these people together. Yeah, but at the end of my talk, it's important to have a great crew, but also we need to think about the future. And it's great to see so many familiar people in the room, familiar faces in the room, but it's also great to see new faces in the room. And I think that's very important. We also need to think about in SPAEN, about the future of SPAEN. And here's an example where you have a long-lasting story, a success story during the last 60 years with different crews that are really continue the whole journey during the last 60 years. And that's also what we need to do at SPAEN. We need now to think about what is the next crew that really will be able to lead SPAEN into the future, maybe for the next 15 years. And so I think it's very important to find people who really have this passion and really have the passion for change, but also to have the passion to work together and to move SPAEN forward. So thank you very much. And with this, have a great conference.